Every time they announce the next project for Code Geass, the number one question is always, will Lelouch be in it? That was the exact response to the teaser trailer for Rosa Other Capture, among other things. It was surprising that many didn't know that Lelouch wasn't going to be the main character of this upcoming project when that was evident from the first announcement that was over 3 years ago. But I forget sometimes that most people aren't following this as closely as I am, if at all. Anyways, this first question inevitably restarted the recurring debate among the fandom and the topic of today's video. What is Code Geass? The answer to this either makes the initial question irrelevant or a deal breaker. But why do people care if Lelouch is in any future Code Geass projects? Didn't his story end over a decade ago? Well, to them, Lelouch is Code Geass. And this argument is not without validity. It's literally in the title, Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion. The story is about him and his impact on the world. Lelouch is the main reason why Code Geass became a household name in the anime community. Without him, Code Geass most likely would have just been another mid-mecha anime trying to cash in on the success of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Expect a video on this topic in the future. Also, Lelouch is the most discussed topic within the Code Geass fandom. Well, that and, you know. And for good reason. He's compelling, flawed, but brilliant, and has a cause that anyone could get behind. His status is so legendary that many consider Lelouch to be one of, if not, the greatest anime protagonist of all time. For many fans, his brilliant strategies, badass moments, and relationships overshadows everything else. It's the reason why many consider Code Geass at its core a story about brilliant tactics in a supernatural war story. By comparison, Geass, Nightmare frames the political landscape and the side characters aren't as interesting. This might be why the stories in the extended universe have never reached the same heights as the original anime. To these fans, not having Lelouch in future projects is no different than saying, without Alucard, there's no Helsing, without Johann, there's no Monster, without Light, there's no Death Note, and without Naruto, well, there's no Naruto? That last one might be an extreme example, but that's the reason why Lelouch only fans will state that the watch order for Code Geass is R1 and R2. There's also the optional picture dramas, and I guess if we're to go further into this...
Oh, not that again.
Sorry. As I was saying,
these fans consider everything else to be unnecessary, superfluous fluff. Just a sad attempt to milk this series for every last penny.
As most of you know, Code Geass is my favorite anime. That's an S. To me, it still has the best ending in all of anime. I don't know what they're doing with it, because I completely stopped after season 2. I didn't want it ruined because they're trying to milk the titties off this thing dry. So I haven't touched it since, and I don't want to, because it ended perfectly. I think they brought him back, they revived him just to like face his corpse, trying to get a little more out of the property. But it doesn't matter because to me this is where it stops.
This argument is not without its merits, as we've seen many projects that indeed appear to be cash grabs. Even the creators banked on Lelouch's popularity when they focused the 10-year plan on Resurrection, instead of adapting the other manga. This is such a shame because if you can get past the belief that Lelouch is Code Geass, there can be a future outside of the original anime, because the other side to this argument is that Lelouch's story is only one within this impressive universe. While it is true that that story did give birth to that universe, it also left so many things open that have yet to be explored. And this was the result of the fact that the original anime only explored things in context to Lelouch's story. That's where the extended material comes into play, filling in those gaps. One such example is the events between R1 and R2, where Lelouch wasn't Zero because he was captured by Charles. They created so many projects to bridge this one gap of time, or how they filled in the blanks with certain events in R2. Beyond this, we got to spend more time with these characters or get introduced to new ones. I enjoy Colin, Suzaku, and C2 in the original anime and appreciate them even more in the extended stories. we get to fully understand them outside of their relationship to Lelouch or their role in the main conflict. What's great about the brand new characters Akito, the Oz twins, Renya, Layla, and so forth is that they help flesh out this world. They make you appreciate the significance of Lelouch's actions. These are the places and people that Lelouch impacted during his story. It adds so much weight to everything and shows that there's so many more avenues left to explore. We have an opportunity to experience a post-Zero Requiem world, as Suzaku said.
This is the world you saved.
And the best part of all of this is that none of the new content that occurs pre, post, or during the original anime retcons the original story. Most of it either fills in the gaps or branches the story out into a new timeline, meaning you can still get a complete story from only watching R1 and R2. And while I don't agree with people's fixation on Lelouch's role in future projects, I understand why though. It's the same for me when it comes to Doctor Who. Doctor Who is a British sci-fi TV show that first aired in 1963 and is still going on to this day, if you call that going. As a child, I grew up watching VHS tapes that were recordings of episodes from Tom Baker, John Pertwee, and Peter Davison's, all actors that played the Doctor. I of course also dipped my toes into William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton's episodes. It's my love for the classics that led to my disdain for modern Doctor Who. Every major problem with the show today was something that modern Doctor Who introduced in its early days. The fall was inevitable. Due to my frustration with modern Who, in my headcanon, the series ended after Peter Davison's run. I say Peter Davison because the show went downhill during Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy's tenure, both in the writing and the eventual show's cancellation. I'm attached to a specific era and Doctor, as Code Geass fans attach themselves to Lelouch and his story. It's a fair stance to take, and just like Doctor Who, the series will keep going on with or without you. Now, despite my issues with modern Who, I'm always willing to give it another chance because what matters most is the quality of writing and direction, which is why I'm interested in the audio drama starring Colin Baker and Paul McGunn. The quality of writing and direction should dictate if people should consume future Code Geass content and the current stuff that's out, not Lelouch's role in it, because we learn from Resurrection that just having Lelouch in something doesn't automatically make it good, and vice versa in the case of Oz of the Reflection. So for me, this new series is going to live or die by the writing. The animation looks promising aside from the nightmare frames, the setup is there with seemingly infinite possibilities. So many plot threads to end and begin. Will the writing team knock it out of the park? Or will Rosa just be another Akito? A series mostly known for being that mediocre Code Geass side story. I hope it's the former because if Rosa is a great story, it might get more Lelouch only fans to watch it and convert them to the idea that a series without Lelouch is still Code Geass. If you're getting back into Code Geass and want some guides on the extended universe, then check out these guides right here.